Hello again. Well, I'm going to do a full tour today of all the vegetable beds. I'm going to try and keep it as brief as possible, but there is a lot going on right now. We'll start off in the side yard and the carrots. We've been picking these for a while now. Next door to the carrots we have Walla Walla onions. These are way behind what they normally are at this time of year, but it's okay, that's what we've got, right? We come down, we have a look at some courgettes, which are like yeah. And then, well, one of my specialties, the spring onions, sown as a bunch and picked as a bunch. Next to these we have a nursery bed of leeks. Look out for these in the next instalment of William Coleman's Garden and Allotment. And then, well, we've got our bush beans. Dwarf French beans, call them what you like. These are prolific, fantastic crop. Now these shallots have been reaching for the light because the bush beans kind of grew over a little bit and shaded them out. And that's okay, they'll be fine. And we come down and we can see some yellow courgettes, not doing that very well. These shallots have done a lot better. Looking forward to these ones. Below that we can see some spring onions that we grow as a bunch and we pick as a bunch. You get the idea, right? And then we've got an empty bed. We'll get to this one later. Moving further down we have some copra onions and, well, some garlic that was left in the ground. I kind of planted it up, but looks like it's going rusty. I really thought I'd be able to save this for next year, but I don't think that's going to work. And then finally, at the end of the side yard, the courgettes. These are jackpots. Fantastic. And moving along to the courtyard and the herb garden. We've got one or two things in pots like lavender and peppers. We've cropped the basil now at least twice, made lots of pesto. And behind that we've got some garlic chives which I'm going to be relocating next year. I'm going to use that bed for something else. And moving along we've got some triple curl parsley and some cilantro. Not used it, we'll cut it back. We haven't used it basically because we haven't had the tomatoes yet, and we'll use this more when the tomatoes start to ripen up. Some oregano, a little bit of dill at the end, basil, I think there's a rogue lettuce growing in there somewhere, and then we've got the watercress which are in these, I don't know, the kind of wet pots hanging on the wall. It's been really nice. Got some acorn squash. This is the horseradish. I must have done something right, either that or you can't get it wrong. The peppers, I'll give you a close-up of the peppers in a minute, and the tomatoes as we move down. The tomatoes have kind of been slow to ripen this year, which is quite amazing because we've had a hell of a lot of sun. Moving across, we've got a few herbs such as mint and thyme. I've got another pepper there, and I got myself a bay leaf. Never grown one before. Mrs. wanted one. Damn, it was expensive. The idea, these are potatoes in pots that are actually sown on Canada Day, July the 1st. We're giving them away with every purchase at the local nursery. So I thought, put them in, might get some spuds for Thanksgiving. Behind that is a second sowing of peas, and basically these ones are going to be used for seed next year. The kale, we've not been eating too much kale this year. We've been eating more lettuce. Hopefully we can start getting this in the salad soon. And yeah, another planting of lettuce that I did back on July the 1st. And right at the back there, we got some more basil because I've still got pots of it left, and I just needed somewhere to put it. I'm finally getting some cucumbers. Everything were late on the cucumbers. I had a bit of a bad start, but things are catching up. In the greenhouse, don't have much, but these are a couple of cucumbers that I'm watering only from the bottom. Didn't even sow the seed for these until June, so they're not doing too badly. I've also got some hot peppers growing. This one, well, this one's called a macho. This one's called a macho nacho. Now it appears to me that the macho nacho is more macho than the macho, I think. I've also got a Hungarian yellow wax pepper, which is a bit like a banana pepper. And then I've got a couple of jalapenos. These are not doing very well at all. Let's take a look at the fruit garden. Even though our blueberry bushes are not really substantial, they've certainly gave us quite a lot of blueberries this year. Mrs. Coleman likes to come out in the morning and pick her breakfast from the fruit garden. Blueberries is one of her favourites. We still have 1 or 2 strawberries coming, but the hot weather has kind of stunted the growth a little bit. Like many people that grow raspberries, after a while you kind of get sick of them. These are the red gooseberries. It's quite a small plant, but it has yielded quite a few fruits. This is another gooseberry. These ones are black. I didn't know that. I only had it 2 years and it never yielded any fruit last year. As you can see, there's actually tons of them. And these are the black currants. Again, I thought they'd be ripened by now, especially with all the sun we've had. We'll take a quick look round the bottom end. I've got a lot of work to do in here and it's going to look a lot different the next time you see it. The French beans, the pole beans, we've had tons and tons of these. These are cobras, we always do well. I've got some cucumbers growing in buckets. These are for a different project that I'm doing. They were sown on June the 1st. And these are, again, the Walla Walla onions. Not done so well as they normally do. By now, these are usually huge. The leaves on the container potatoes are now going over. It's time to snip them off and pour a whole bunch of them out. These are the red onions that are putting on a little bit of a growth spurt. And the stirring onions that I grew from sets. And these are the giant onions. They finally did bulb up. Look at that. Pretty pleased with them. I've pulled most of the brassica bed now. All the cauliflowers and the broccolis have been blanched and they're in the freezer. I'm going to use this space to grow something else. Red cabbages are still here, but they're not really cabbaging very well. But what are cabbaging pretty well are the regular green ones. I'm going to be cropping these today. And the leaves on the potatoes in the bed here, they're kind of going over a little bit too. I'll probably just snip them back and I'll dig these out maybe the 1st or 2nd week of August. This was the second sowing of carrots. These are Imperator. And these ones are my favourites. They're kind of long and thin. We have some parsnips and a 3rd sowing of carrots, and then these flipping things. I disdain beetroot. The beetroot hasn't really done that well this year, but the wife's still been eating it. I've pulled all the turnips, but I do have a few Swedes left. And then we've got some more kale, because we usually eat loads of it, but as I said, this year we've barely touched it. And growing in these trugs we have the pumpkins. Not really any sign of any fruit on this one. It's not done very well. This pumpkin's done a little bit better. I think we're going to get a couple of pumpkins on here. The carrots and the parsnips, which I'm growing in pipes, we took a look at these last week. They're doing just fine. And of course, the one. I'm growing quinoa for the first time, and it was extremely fast to germinate, and then it was slow to grow. But I shoved it in the ground, I don't know, about 3 weeks ago, and it's took off. And I think we are going to get some quinoa. This is the beefsteak tomato plant that I have that has leaf curl. which was probably caused by overwatering when it was a youngster. But I planted it out anyway. It's had lots of flowers, no sign of any fruit. It's still got leaf curl, and I barely watered it. I've 1 or 2 sweet bell peppers that I grew from seed. I didn't think there'd be enough time for them to put any fruit out, but it's encouraging. They've grown pretty well. This is the red Russian garlic, and I'm going to be pulling it all out today. Just look at it. It's fantastic. These are what I like to call my show onions. I'm not going to be showing them anywhere, but they're kind of neat to have. And I've put a little something there to give it some perspective. And that's about it. Hope you've enjoyed the tour. I've tried to make it as brief as I possibly can. Right now, I think it's time for a beer. Cheers. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a comment, hit the like button or subscribe.